So I've made this video so many different times, but I want to talk about the Adam and Eve story, and I want to look at it from a different perspective that I think will give Black women some insights into certain things. Um, this is not to Let me just get right into it. I'm doing this because a lot of times I've noticed in the comment section that when there's a discussion about black men and black women, and when black women are making videos where they're kind of challenging certain things that black men do or calling it out, and they're black men tend to, number one, come up into that space and distract and cause problems. Then when they get, their ass handed to them in a debate with a black woman and they don't have a leg to stand on, the first thing they jump to is uh, biblical terms and spiritual terms. And they usually pervert it for their own benefit, but they like to say that black women are like daughters of Satan, um, kind of villainizing black women for simply asserting themselves, for simply like kind of clapping back, establishing boundaries. They'll say you're daughters of Satan. They'll say, feminism is the devil. Just all kinds of over the top shit that frankly is old. Um, it's been done before. Men have done that a lot. That's where you get the Jezebel stereotype, where anytime a woman does something for her benefit, it's like made to seem like she's doing something real underhanded. But when men do things for their own benefit, it's applauded as quote unquote leadership. But anyway, you know, they've also tried to say that you're being punished, like they can't wait until we black women, daughters of Eve or whatever, are punished for our betrayal and treachery. So anyway, I wanted to kind of come back and look at that story because black people have a very interesting relationship to religion in the Bible, and there's some reasons for that I'm not going to get into it right here, but I think that it's important to look at it from a different lens. I think the Adam and Eve story is more so a representation of the dynamic between men and women. I don't think it's necessarily, oh, this is how it should be. It was more so a story of what it had become. Number one, if you look at the story, Adam was the one who was supposedly created first, and then he enters into this verbal agreement with God. He gets the commandment straight from God not to eat from a tree. Okay? I don't know about you, but if I enter into agreement with someone and I'm telling them to their face, you can't do this, you can't do that, these are the terms, and there's no one else around, and some shit hits the fan, the person I'm going to really look at the most is the one I was talking to first, the one who was there. I don't care, I wouldn't care who came afterwards. The one who came first is the one I would hold accountable the most. But you don't see that in the Bible. You see that Adam came first, he enters the agreement, then Eve comes along through a rib story, and she's not even important enough to get a one-on-one with God until the punishment comes. No, she gets the story secondhand from Adam, and yes, she's held to the same standard, if not a higher standard than Adam, because if you look at her punishment, it's pretty severe, right? Her labor pains were increased, and she would have to deal with craving her husband and then basically being rejected by him because he would dominate over her. And we know that they were living a long ass time back then, so she had to deal with that shit for a long time. So I look at that and I'm like, well, it's no wonder then that whenever we try to talk about shit going on in the black community or the shit that black men do, the first thing that black men want to say is, oh, it's both of us. Oh, well, it's these women here too. And I'm like, well, isn't that funny? Because that sounds a lot like what Adam said in the Bible when God checked him on his bullshit and was like, what's going on here? The first thing he said was, oh, well, it was this woman you gave me. Now, that's some arrogant shit right there, okay? not only did you break the commandment that you were given, uh, pretty much to your face directly, you heard it from the mouth of God. I mean, it doesn't get much realer than that. You still fucked it up, and then tried to hide when you got caught. Then when you finally, had your trial, so to speak, you don't say sorry. You don't say like, yeah, I fucked up. No, the first thing Adam says is this woman you gave me. It's always the woman's fault. So I doubt, I'm obviously not the first person to point this out, but I want to look at it specifically to the black man, black woman dynamic, because it's very clear that if you want to draw some parallels here, these are the kind of parallels you need to draw. And it's up to black women to decide if they want to still be under that kind of bullshit pattern and that bullshit spell. Because that's some fuck shit. Okay? So, the woman, Adam and Eve story, if you want to sit up here and say Eve is a representation of all black women, what that's really saying is, you have bullshit ass second class citizens and status from the get go. Because not only were you not important enough for God to have a one on one with you, but your ass was important enough to be a scapegoat, uh, i.e., Roland Martin blaming black women for the failure of a movie. Scapegoat. The nearest fucking scapegoat. Blaming black women for behavior that the man did, that Nate Parker engaged in and chose to do and continued to do, the shit that the rape charge, the continual arrogance, the attitude that he had even after the fact, whatever the case may be. It was shit he did. And yet we're getting dragged into it. I don't want to go too off topic because that's not, like, I don't want to talk about that. But to bring it back to the Adam and Eve story, the second part that I find very interesting is that if you look at, let's see, if you look at Eve's so-called creation, not only, again, was she not important enough to have a one-on-one with God, but even her birth, like I said, quote unquote birth, is abnormal because this motherfucker Adam goes to sleep through the whole goddamn process. Again, she's not important enough. And they clearly have some kind of, like, they feel like they have some kind of backing, some kind of in with the God of the Bible, because that's why they're so quick to fall back on it when shit gets rough, because this God of the Bible has no problem punishing men and women equally, her more so, for some shit he does. And is constantly, like, kind of protecting this male, Adam. She gets labor pains increase, but he couldn't even be made to, like, stay awake during his rib surgery. I mean, he went to sleep. God put him in a deep sleep through the whole process. That's how important she is. And I don't see how you can bond with someone, when you don't put in any work. He's the precedent is that he doesn't have to do anything and things are just given to him. He doesn't have to so much be inconvenienced, even a little bit. He doesn't even have to feel any kind of pain and discomfort for a whole life to come through. He can take a nap. Okay? If you don't see the damn connection to that and what you see today in male behavior, in black male behavior, some of this is global. This is kind of like all men to a degree or another. But particularly I'm talking about black men and black women because, these scriptures are the first thing that black people want to run to when shit gets rough. And the ways in which we apply it, a lot of times are really fucking ass backwards. Okay, so you can't look at this and then be surprised. And like I said, you know, I'm not one who feels like you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Obviously, there's some things in the Bible and in holy books that, you know, make sense. Yeah, you know, don't kill your neighbor for no reason. Don't fucking, you know, fuck your wife. Like, you know, this is, I mean, fuck your neighbor's wife. This is common sense, and it just really takes a little bit of, you know, empathy and sympathizing with other people to know like what you should and should not do. Uh, but other than that, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit up here and look at the Adam and Eve story and take comfort in that and let some fucking males use that goddamn story against me and other women because they want to finagle their way out of some bullshit that they done started. You know, some chaos that they don't want to fucking clean up. You know, they're expecting to take a nice little nap. Like Adam in the Bible, they want to take a nap and just wake up and shit be done for them. And shit just be finished. You know, they don't want to have to lift a finger. They want to take a nap. They want to run away like Adam did when he got caught because he was hiding. They want to find a scapegoat like Adam did when he got caught. Oh, it's the woman. You know, that's what they're expecting to do. And I feel as women, it's time we break that fucking cycle. It's time we do something different. Okay, let's look at this story a little differently. You know, do you really think as a woman that you're that fucking unimportant that you don't deserve a one-on-one with the creator when your body is the one that's created the most to match a creative force? Yet you're the one who doesn't get a one-on-one with the creator. How does that work? Do you really think that you're such a wretched creature that you deserve to have your labor pains increase as a punishment? Isn't that more of a representation that of how life really is, right? Aren't you supposed to be a little uncomfortable and put in some work to get the reward at the end, which is the child? How did that get flipped into a punishment? Oh, it got flipped into a punishment by the very same people, the males, who got to take a fucking nap during the birthing, quote unquote, birthing process of the woman. Okay? Don't let them flip the script and play mind games on you. Because they've been doing that for a long time. And when they can use religion, they try to use the legal system, use the law to do so. They'll use politics, they use culture, they use whatever they can to keep your ass fucked up. To keep us in a enslaved and in position, dependent upon them, fucked up, only to turn around now and apparently they want to quote unquote go their own way, which I find fucking hilarious because I don't know when in history men generally haven't been going their own way, whether it's, you know, colonizing other countries, exploring some shit, usually having sex with, or if not raping women along the way, having a bunch of babies here and there, leaving the babies, then wanting a reward if they stay to take care of their babies, having a side family, going up into fucking space, going down into the fucking ocean. I fail to remember a time when men weren't going their own fucking way. I'm confused as to where they're trying to go now, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, women, black women, you need to do your own research. You need to do your own history. You cannot rely upon other people to spoon feed you uh, the text and the context and the history and what really happened. Do your own research. They're going to write you out of the story, aka Dr. Dre and the whole Straight Outta Compton thing, writing the women out the story, particularly the black women. This is a pattern for them. If they don't write you out the story, if they're going to put you in the story, they're going to make you look, unimportant and fucked up. Some like fucking wallflower who doesn't matter. That's what they're going to do. So the question is, as women, as black women, what the fuck are you going to do now? Are you going to keep going down this road with them? Are you going to keep harping on this story about they're the leaders of the community? Or do you think maybe it's time that we all stand the fuck up and lead our damn selves and lead each other where necessary? I don't think women really do hierarchy the same way men do. I don't really think we function like that. But, supporting each other is probably a better word. You can't sit here anymore and let them tell the story to you. You can't sit here and let them turn scriptures against you when it's convenient. Okay, because you will lose every time. If you let them do that, you will lose every time. Thank you.